Happy New Year, LinkedIn Live. Hope you had a great New Year's, but more importantly, hope you want to get off to a great start. This is when you can all make it happen. So, that's what this show is all about is reinvention for 2023. Now, chat's open. What I've been doing lately, which has been outstanding for everyone involved, is anybody who comments or just says, here's who I am and where I'm at, I'll tag you in my post that gets lots of exposure with about 180 other thought leaders. So if you're interested in getting to be known by some people who are worth knowing, let's get interactive and participate. Okay, first gentleman here, Safter from Pakistan. Thank you for being on the show. So great to have you. I would advise and promote everybody to use this show as a networking event. People here are like-minded people because they're here for a purpose, which is to get better and to use the broadcast network to not be the best kept secret on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Safter. And here's Cynthia. Cynthia's a regular. So happy to have you. Cynthia is really interested in learning more and getting better and working with others. So, that's what I would say is a good starting point for 2023 is start looking at who you spend the most time with on LinkedIn and what do you get in return. And it's like having a baseball team or any professional team, and you decide which players are you going to keep this year who did really well and which players are you going to optimize by replacing. So, look at it from a recruitment standpoint that you're looking for what you want. You don't want to be looked at. You want to be the looking, you want to be the proactive individual who, really is making things happen for you and everybody else. Well, Happy New Year to you, Cynthia. It's great to have you. Hopefully this year we'll all see each other grow and prosper. And so wishing everybody a healthy, happy New Year. Thank you, Cynthia. So we've got Safter who's sharing. I'm looking for collaboration with US entities for my technology company for software. Well, that's great. It's good to get the word out. And you know what else is important is that this broadcast gets seen by about 200 really, I would say, thought leaders. So it's not just what's on the show, it's what follows the show. And that's how you can really build your network is by being known. There's a saying, be known before you're needed. Safter is wishing everybody a happy new year. Great happy new year back. And, how do we get into the topic at hand, which is reinvention? You have to look at LinkedIn and yourself as a fluid entity, right? That continues to learn, change, grow, help others, learn how to help others better. When you invest in others, you're making a bigger investment in yourself. J. Paul Getty, who at one time was the richest man in the world, once said he'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of his own. That's what collaboration, that's what networking is about, getting the word out. What is everybody holding on to? If you're here to do better, how much better are you for being here? And what are you doing every day to make it happen? How creative, how imaginative? Now, this all goes into reinvention. This is a new land with a new culture that's constantly dynamically changing. And you've got to be able to hold on to to take the ride and get to where you're going. And 2023 just started today. Forget about 2022 on things you want to forget about. Take forward things that you were successful, proud of, and happy with, and roll them into 2023. It's like an investment, right? If something's tracking well and trending well, reinvest in it. Things that aren't, take time and energy away from that, reapply it. The key is time, cost, and thought efficiency. Starting with connections, take inventory. The last week, everything I've been saying was about get ready for 2023. Here's strategies to put yourself in position. Well, right now, everybody's at the starting blocks. You know, where do you want to go? Write it down. When do you want to get there? Write it down. How and what is it going to take to get there? Write it down. A written plan is 5 times more successful than an unwritten plan. So, you know, and why not be the first to see what you plan on doing? Why make it a surprise to you? Because if you don't know where you're going, you're probably already there. You know, and so many people, you know, when they're going in the wrong direction, they double their speed. You know, so there's a neutral and there's a reverse gear here on LinkedIn. You can pause, reflect, review. What you do up front will save you so much energy, time going forward. But more importantly, it's integral to success. You got to have a system. You got to have a process, because if you don't, it's not duplicatable. If you can't figure and talk and show what you're doing, what other person's going to be attracted to you? You know, you got to be the product of the product. So, you know, that's so important, is self-examination, you know, performance review, investment, you know, 7, 8 categories. Whatever you got in that category, write it down. If it's nothing, say I got nothing. At least that's where you start. So moving forward, we've discussed new land, new culture, new language. Here's the key. How much of a giver were you last year? Givers get in huge benefit. Here we have a nice gentleman. Happy New Year, Dr. Minshed. So happy you could make it. I hope all of this information is something that can complement what you're already thinking. I know everybody is wanting, I hope, to do better, to do bigger, to do faster, and with more people who they're aligned with and enjoy being with, and who can collaborate. Knowing without doing is better off not knowing, because you're wasting 2 people's energy for connecting and sitting. You know, it's like 2 people look at each other like, are you going to give me something? And they both start out with that. Who's going to get anything? You got to be the one that says, hey, I got something I think could help you. What you're not giving is a thing. It's a sense of a feeling of support and understanding. Half of all the problems I come into when I'm coaching people is confidence, you know, the ability to take action. But in a lot of cases, someone just needs to know it's not that big of a deal. If you're not making anything here, you're not going to lose anything by changing anything. People want to know they're okay, there's a way, they can do it. And if they can't do it by themselves, maybe together you could do it, especially if you're the one who's doing it every day and it's working. Do what others do, get what others get. Don't do what others do, don't get what others get. Now, if it's good and bad, work both sides. And the thing is, if you don't have value to bring to others, why would anybody want to engage you? Oh, Ross, so happy to have you today. I know I tag you, you know, and I'm glad you could visit. There once was a man who tried to do something that couldn't be done, and he couldn't do it. So right, so spot on. And, you know, reach out to Ross, check out his profile, you know, use this as a platform yourself to distinguish and differentiate yourself from the crowd and elevate yourself from the crowd. Be known before you're needed and leverage the interaction you could get through your own proactive initiation of interaction with others. You know, and the sooner someone says, hey, how about this? That's a qualifying process. How about a Zoom? How about a visit on my show? And then the other thing is, you be the one who creates your own opportunity and shares it with others that has value to them first, and maybe for quite a while. I look at it as like bank accounts, building goodwill with others. Just like any bank account, you don't want to take out, you want to keep adding. And if you never touch it, then that's great, right? You served and you still had everything you wanted. So thank you so much, Ross. Moving on to the other aspects of this, because I try to do everything fast but sure. I love time efficiencies. I'm always looking to shave a few seconds off and get it to the point where I budget my LinkedIn time. And when I'm out, it's my fault if I didn't cover all my bases. And that's what gives you discipline and makes you selective. If you say I'm giving it 2 hours, you break it down on how you're going to spend it, you spend it, you review based on what you did to what you intended to do, measure against your goal, and tomorrow you change things. In a football game, every play is a new play based on, the prior play and the future play. And the same thing on LinkedIn. Know a couple steps ahead, make it simple, but what's simple is not always easy. And what's easy to do is also easy not to do. So, another key aspect is be authentic. Quit fooling yourself first, then quit fooling others. Time will either expose you or promote you. And you're the one who created whatever's coming to you. So if you're saying I'm getting a lot of irrelevant people trying to bother me and sell me stuff, well, that's your content or lack of it, or the distribution of your content or lack of it. And that's what you need to change, because if I know people who are just crushing it, it shows that LinkedIn works if you work it. But you got to know how. You got to have things in the right order. You can't be too tough on yourself. You got to be your own best friend. This is truly a game between you and yourself. And you've got to be able to be a giver without worrying. And that just comes with the confidence that what you have has superior value, is easy to appreciate once it's experienced. And it's just like sampling. Would you give somebody a piece of cheese to sell them a block of cheese? Sure. And you know what? After you give it enough, you find out if it's worth it. And one day will tell you a lot. Sitting there thinking of what to do just wasted a day of doing anything. Okay. Cynthia, well, Dr. Minchet is lost. What's your suggestion? I guess you need to take it as a whole instead of pieces. Cynthia, thank you for that. I get people like that contacting me all the time. That's a great point to kind of pivot to, is whatever you're getting is based on whatever you're attracting. And whatever you're attracting is whatever you're doing or not doing. So look at what could you change, or if you were looking at it, and that's how you have to look at it, from an audience value with key capitals on value, benefit. If the benefit isn't there, the audience won't be there. And if there's no benefit, what's the next step anyways? Why not share the value up front? Because that's when it'll be the most attractive, and that'll be the easiest way to sort, by just being specific. If you were hiring the people you're connecting to, wouldn't you specify what you're looking for in the recruitment opportunity? I would. Poonam is here. Hi, boss. Happy New Year. I love the emojis. Very colorful. Thank you, Poonam. Happy New Year to you and yours. To Cynthia's point again, that's what 2022 review was all about. Look at what you've done. Look at what you received. Take what you learned. Take the best of what you did. Roll it into 2023. Get rid of the rest. It's like getting rid of the shell and eating the peanut. And then build in the gap from what you're not going to do to what you're going to do. And do that in all areas: content, people. Take control. This is your business. If you won't work harder for yourself, then you'd work for a stranger who has less interest in you. That's a question mark you got to answer. Or go back to working for somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. This is not easy. This is a long haul. I'm into about 3.5 years into a 5-year journey. But I knew that going in, and I was okay with it. Don't take off on a long journey when you got no gas in the tank. And I think that's where reaching out, getting coaching, getting collaboration, attracting people, whether you got to pay for it or whether you got to trade for it, or whether you got to earn it through supporting somebody. You should know what it would take to be a well-rounded, successful business that's scalable, duplicatable, and sustainable. Cynthia is all for that. Great point, Don. It's really at a certain point common sense. What works in other areas of your life that makes you successful would be just as valuable applying it to LinkedIn. And don't go halfway. You ever go to an interview sloppy, don't care, late? I'd say a lot of people on LinkedIn don't even show up. And when they show up, they kind of throw up. I hate to say it. They talk about themselves. They talk about what they want, what they need. They want you to tell them how great they are. You got to meet people at their own level. You got to be accessible, and you got to be consistent. Consistent is going to be key to your reinvention. Whatever you do, set out to be consistent. I have done this show now. I say it every day. I would say going on every day for 8 months, every day, 7 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm getting better, so much better at it that I could have never done that if I did it once a week. And the audience knows where I am every day. And if they want a shot of 30 minutes of best practices, greatest insights, all the experience. 8 months LinkedIn Live, 3 years every day posting too. And I tag 180 people a day. And everything I do, I keep to a really time-efficient system that everything's measurable. And there's a saying, you can't manage what you can't measure. So, write it down. So much more valuable, and it works 5 times better than not. Why not go with the 5 times? If I gave you a 20 for a 1, how long would you think? So, consistent, being with the right people, sending the right message, taking control, being proactive, being relevant, always increasing the value you bring. Find better ways to project it, to amplify the message through more of an audience, and use LinkedIn's tools like LinkedIn Live. Anybody's not doing a LinkedIn Live, it's like driving with a parking brake. And be a bridge and an advocate for others. Don't just be a glad hander who's out there, happy this, high this, hope this. Do something for people. Get them out of their plateau. Create breakthroughs, because once they're free to do more, once they're a bigger believer, they're going to remember what got them there, and they're going to want more of it, and they're going to want to do something nice for you. And maybe if they're really nice people, they want to do something nice for you, even if it didn't matter as far as what it did for them. Those are the people, the givers, who want to give and continue to support each other. And it all comes down to trust. Do you trust yourself? Are you honest with yourself? And if you're not, it's just you and you, so you accept it. Whatever it is. Not everybody can change overnight. Not everybody wants to change. But at least you'll know that you're lowering the bar. So you shouldn't be that disappointed. You shouldn't be that frustrated. And another thing, if not this, what? If not now, when? If not with the people you're around, who? Those questions don't go away. So leaving doesn't get you anywhere. It gets you back to a start. But anyways, that's another conversation in the future. So, anybody else have any questions? Happy to, address anything that might be interesting or to you from a standpoint of reinventing yourself and seeing the opportunity LinkedIn offers to those who do. It's constantly plan, do, review. And like I say, a lot of people are just doing stuff. Okay, we got another gentleman. Happy New Year. Well, it is a happy New Year, and it's only going to get happier if you're around happier people doing happier things, getting happier results. So I think that should be thank you so much, Hussein. The goal is to also bring some joy into your strategy. I can't wait for Mondays, even though now every day is Monday, because it's a continuing cycle. Poonam has a great comment. Trusting yourself is a point. Sometimes we do not believe in myself. Sometimes there's a lot of times for a lot of people, including me. If you don't have that, there's no reason to change. There's a saying, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you start to make a change. And I think it's trust in yourself that you can change. Excuse me, because anything you do yesterday, if you do something different today, tomorrow you can do yesterday again. It's not like a bridge too far. So, be honest with yourself. And here's the thing, when you change and you're proud of yourself and you're honest with yourself, it shows in your authenticity to others. And that's key. People want to know, really, what are you talking about? Who are you? What's your intent? Because most people start with a skeptical, cynical, distrustful attitude that you have to earn your way just to get to even. And understand that. That's why going slow with you as opposed to fast with what you can give them, right? Loud, shout it from the roof. If you believe you got something that's shoutable from the roof, opportunities. And if nothing else, you know what? Put a mixture of compliment, support, and what you can do. It's like wrap it in a nice package with a good bow on it. And that would be head and shoulders above everybody else out there. The little things done right over time compound. And, there's something called the K curve. And what it is it's the straight line, which is the back of the K, and then two lines that come out from it. And the two lines are relative to activity. So if you have a cheeseburger on day one and a carrot on the other way, it wouldn't make a difference the first day. But over years, eating, let's say, carrots versus cheeseburgers and French fries, you're going to see a huge difference. And that's where the K forms. So what it really says is everything you do either takes you closer or further away from your goal. And you make the decision where you go, what you do. Some of the best advice I ever received was, every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose to be happy, or you can choose to be unhappy. And every day you make that choice, and the past does not have to define your future. And nobody else should tell you who or what or why you are. Don't let dream stealers into your life. Poonam says, yeah, we covered that. Well, with that said, hopefully this made a difference. I'd love to hear from you. Share this. That would be a way of returning the benefit of participating. And you are so farther ahead than people who didn't kind of put their toe in the water, to see what LinkedIn Live can do for you, because this is like just great value. The only investment you have is showing up, And then now that everybody sees and will get to know you over time, what would 100 of these shows do? And at a certain point, what would your own show do? I advocate everybody, if you want and you're serious, I've got a program and it could allow you to guest on my show, get comfortable, and then create your own show. And I'd be happy to co-host with you for a while. So, don't think of what could happen now that you know what can happen. The question is, do you take action against it? And it could be just little things, again, done right. Make some minor adjustments, open yourself up for change, and be the change you want others to be attracted to. So with that said, this has been a very, very valuable LinkedIn Live for me because it just got the wheels turning. I learned so much sometimes even from what I say that I wouldn't have heard without talking to you. Cynthia says, you always make a difference to me, Don. Thank you. And you too. And, Cynthia's proving that if you just get involved, just being around the right people, doing the right things with the right ideas changes everything. It's your environment. It's what you allowed yourself to build, good or bad. But just like any building, no matter how good it is, it always needs to be kept up. It needs to be optimized. Continue to polish. That's so important. Thank you, Cynthia. Hope your 2023 is a winner. I'm sure it will be because, there's so many people doing things that they never did before they got to LinkedIn because it's fresh, it's new, and now they've got the opportunity maybe they never had. And there's people who were successful prior to LinkedIn that can't transfer over. They're too entitled. They're unable to change. They're bosses instead of partners. And, it's personal because it's a personality. People come for what you promote. They stay or leave for you. Be the best you can be. Well, Cynthia's, me too. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, if there's anybody else, I'll wait about a minute and just kind of tell you. If you're interested in learning more, come to my website. And if you're just learning, wanting to be on the show, let's have a Zoom call and discuss it. So with that said, I don't see any more comments. So I'll sign off for today. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time every day. If you have the opportunity, share this with others. Make that your activity today. If you're not doing something, just say Happy New Year, blah, blah, blah. And here's something I thought was valuable you might be interested in. You're giving them a gift. Okay, thank you for now. Okay, Poonam says, thanks, boss. Well, let's call ourselves friends. So ending. Oh, Cynthia, I love your ring. Oh, yeah. This is got this when I got married 44 years ago. So thank you for noticing. Very, very thoughtful of you, Cynthia. Okay, bye for now. Start off with a fresh start and get a head of steam and just roll. Be like a runaway train going down a hill. Take care. Bye for now.